What's going on, guys? I'm Nick the Tutor, and this channel is dedicated to improving your SAT, ACT, and AP scores. Now, today's video, I'm going to talk about something really important, which is AP scoring. I'm going to break down how the tests are scored so you can figure out how to optimize your individual score. And yeah, I'm talking to you, Timmy, Sally, and Jennifer. We want to get those fives, bro. We don't want ones, we don't want twos, we want threes, fours, and fives. Mostly fours and fives. So let's get it. Hey man, listen, no disrespect to your teacher, bro. Bruh. A lot of you probably don't understand the format of the AP exams, and that's not your fault. So what I'm going to do today is explain that to you. Now I want you guys to listen closely because this is so important for any standardized test, that you understand the format, how it's scored, and what will produce the best score. And yeah, talking to you, Sally. Hey, look, Brendan, Jennifer, your parents are Karen and Darren. They're probably up your about studying for the AP exams. So I'm here to help you. All right, so how are AP exams scored? From a basic perspective, you all probably know this, 1 to 5, but what do those numbers really mean? 5 means you're extremely qualified. 4, you're kind of killing it, your vibes are pretty strong, that's well qualified or qualified. 3 is you're qualified, but a lot of colleges will not accept that, but it's not bad, like no one's gonna frown upon that, and that's the last passing grade. 2, you're really close, you just wanna push over that edge to 3 so you can be passing, but 2 is, not really what we want, and then 1 is pretty much hot garbage. No disrespect. So anything over 3 is considered passing, which is what we're going for. Obviously 3 is okay, but we're really looking for those 4s and 5s, and most colleges will accept 4s and 5s for college credit. So not only are you passing a test, but you're also lining your pockets with gold. And what I mean by that is you're going to be saving on college tuition because you're going to have credits going into college, and that is awesome. Now, how do we arrive at this score of 1 to 5? Well, the 1 to 5 score is a scaled score, right? This is a scaled exam. You have a raw score, which is your score that you actually received on the test itself, and that is then scaled based on how people perform into the scaled score. Now, what they do is they try to route a certain number of people, a certain percentage of people, to a 5, to a 4, to a 3, to a 2, and to a 1. It's a bell curve with very few people getting a 1 or a 5, right? Because we're on the ends of the spectrum, and most people getting a 3, right? 3 is going to be the most popular score with 2 and some 4 mixed together. But if you count 2s, 3s, and 4s, you're going to be looking at a large majority of the scorers. Now, one of the weird parts about AP exams is that each AP exam has a different distribution, and that's just kind of based on how people perform. So some AP exams have a larger percentage of 5s than others, and that's because some tests, I guess, are seen as easier or more difficult, or people are performing at a different level. That's kind of a scaling issue that I don't want to get into too much because it's kind of freaking boring. All right, guys, so you have on most AP exams a multiple choice section and a free response / fill-in section. Those may be scored equally. They may be given different percentiles or percentages in terms of their value. So you want to know that for your specific AP exam. You want to know what is being weighted and how it's being weighted. So if there's a free response question that is heavily weighted, you want to spend a lot of your study time on that. If it's not as heavily weighted, maybe you want to spend less time. Obviously, maybe some time, but not as much. The multiple choice part of an AP exam is graded on a computer. So basically, you just want to fill all that out. If you're somehow running out of time or you can't find an answer or you don't know something, just fill it in. You're going to have a small percentage chance of getting that correct, but you want that percentage chance. That may be just the thing that puts you over the edge to a 3 or to a 4 or to a 5 or whatever. The longer format questions are graded by humans, and that's why that takes a lot longer. Those are graded usually in June. If the AP exams are in May, it usually takes till sometime in June to grade those because humans are actually grading them, and they're grading them by a rubric. Now, part of the problem with that is that once you start bringing in humans, then you have error, right? Because humans make errors. So someone could misgrade your answer. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but that is a factor. I think you can request a regrade if you do feel like you've been shorted in some way, shape, or form. Now, what you want to do is try to keep your free response answers to the point and concise, because the person reading them is probably some miserable old guy who's just fed up with reading these crummy responses, because most of them probably are pretty bad. So if you can present a good response in a short amount of time where they can, read it in a concise manner and really understand, I think, what you're saying, that bodes well for them viewing you positively. If you start out on the wrong foot, if your intro is just disorganized or you don't even have an intro, they're probably going to look at that negatively, and that may influence their psychology to give you a poor score. They shouldn't do that, but they might. And I'm talking to you, Rupert, you test grader. And free response questions are given a raw score, so that raw score is added to your other raw scores, and then it's all kind of put into some kind of scaling system and then graded. So you want to optimize your points across the entire test. Now, how do they end up calculating the 1 to 5 composite score? So what they do is they take the performance of students this year and they compare it to how students performed in other years to make sure, like I said, the distribution of 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s comes out pretty much the same. So if on a certain AP exam, 10% of people are getting a 5, that's going to be pretty similar year over year unless they kind of change something, which I don't think they will. Even in the COVID year with the online APs, the distribution was pretty much the same. And the reason they do this is this lets colleges accurately evaluate students' performance on a year over year basis. Same thing for, say, the SAT or ACT, why they're graded on the same kind of scale every year, because that lets college compare students from one year to students to another year. All right, guys, at the end of the day, it's super important to understand how the tests are scored. What I would do if I were you would be to go through each test I'm taking. The College Board actually has a document on their website that explains the scoring of that particular test. So I would go and review that rubric and scoring system before I take any AP exams. But if you do want more help in studying for AP exams and how to prepare for them, I have another video right here that you can watch now.